Hey, Professor K here, and we're on part 4 of the idea generators tutorial. It's time to start storing our data. We've been making all kinds of API calls out to raindrops.io's bookmarks, but I want to be respectful of their tool and just store my data. Also, I don't want to keep waiting for this to load every single time. So in this part of the tutorial, I'm going to store my data. And I think I'm going to do this using local storage. I've got two options. I've got cookies and local storage. Local storage is the kind of newer one to use. So I'm going to try that. So let's get started. All right. So in our last tutorial, we basically added stuff to index.html. We got our HTML just the way we liked it. And then we used that as a template for what each idea should look like. So I have a console.log item in here. I don't think I need that anymore. I've got the data I want roughly. So I'm going to take that out. I can always put it back if I need to. I've checked off these goals, creating a template and returning HTML with data from the item. So that's good. Everything's working well. I think I'm ready to tie up my feature branch here. So here I've got the add HTML. Ideally, I would have been committing throughout this process, but you know me, I was too busy teaching you. So too bad I didn't commit anything while I was going, but that's okay. One commit's fine here. I'm going to add adds the markup or the general markup and item template. And I am just going to, just like I did last time, finish my feature, and that's going to merge it into develop and delete the feature branch. So just to see where we're at here, these are all the things I've done on develop. Up here on main, we don't have any of those commits yet. And that's because I haven't create a release and finished all my work here. So again, working in a professional Git workflow, that's exactly what's happening here. So let's start a new feature, and our feature is going to be called store the data, because that's what we're doing. We're storing the data. All right, I'm going to start by writing some pseudocode. If I'm writing pseudocode, if I'm storing the API data for a certain amount of time, so I don't have to wait for the call every single time, I need to have a const of data. I don't know what it is yet, but I need that. I need to check if data exists. So if data, and I'm just going to put does not equal undefined for now. And then I need to go get the data. So maybe instead of putting this big old fetch call in here, maybe what I need to do is create a function for that. So let's do a named function get data. And I'm going to put my fetch inside of here. Cool. And I'm just going to fix my indentation here. And then I'm going to call get data. That seems all right. Inside of get data, I need to set data. Goal, save the data, which means that this should be a let, not a const, because I'm going to change it. So let data equal undefined. Oh, you know what? It's not if data does not equal undefined, it's if data equals undefined. That's when I want this to run. Oh my gosh, the silly mistakes you make sometimes. It's always good to think through your logic. So here, I'm going to check if the data has been saved. And again, this isn't really working just yet, but I think that's the basic idea. So I've done this as a variable so far, but that's not really what I want. I want to store the data for a certain amount of time. I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to Google this. My instinct is local storage, but I'm going to look up local storage versus cookies and see if local storage offers like an expiration date, for lack of a better word, something that will let me say after a certain amount of time, go get the data again, so that this doesn't stay stale forever. It periodically gets new bookmarks for you. So give me a minute to do that. All right. And we're back. So I've done some research on this, and what I found out is that local storage does not inherently support expire times. That said, I don't really want to use cookies just for a number of reasons. Cookies are gross. Not like the real cookies. I really do like actual food cookies, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about browser cookies, which I'm not storing data about the user. So I really just want an expiration date on local storage. So what I did is I looked up on NPM local storage expire, because that's the functionality I want. And I found this great package called browser local storage expire. I found a few other packages too, but they didn't do quite what I wanted. They looked a little more aggressive. So here, the way that I use this is I'm going to install something, and then instead of setting local storage the way I normally would, I'm going to set a variable for browser local storage, which is this library that's going to work for me here. And then I'm going to use these methods, these functions that it provides for me to do the setting and getting of this data. So let's give it a try. Let's see how it works. All right, so this gives a handy explanation for how to install this. Let's just start there. I'm gonna terminate my terminal command by doing Control-C, paste that right in, and oh, you know what? Before I even do that, okay, good. I did start a new branch. Sometimes I'm not sure. Okay, let's go back to this. So npm, this is the same command I've been running. It's just like a shortcut. So npm I stands for install, -s stands for save. So we're using save instead of save dev here because the final compiled application depends on this library. Save dev is only for libraries that you just need for development purposes. Things like Webpack, right? Stuff that bundles your stuff up together, that goes into save dev. However, save is for like, this needs this to like actually run on somebody's browser. So because I'm using this library to modify how local storage works out of the box, I need it to work on the client side when somebody opens this in the browser. Oh, and it's going to take 1,000 years to install. I just know it. It always does. All right, well, while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at some of the things we've got here. We can start adding some of this code in while we wait. So here's const local cache equals browser local storage. Let's just put that in here. Okay. And actually, maybe I will put this under my goal here. So get item and set item. So when I go to do this, it's not data that I'm checking if it's undefined. It's local cache.get item. So here, I want to see what the undefined state of this looks like. I'm going to console.log local cache.get item, and I need a key here. That's how local storage works. I'm like storing it with a key. So I'm going to get item API data, and that should return undefined, but you never know. We need to go back and run npm run start. This is going to do the thing. And I don't even really care about what's happening on the main page right now. I'm more interested in what's in the console, so that's what I'm going to watch. All right, now it's loading. It didn't like something there because it's not putting in the CSS anymore. Browser local storage is not defined. Oh, because I didn't import it. I didn't require it. I missed a step. So I need to, let me see if the GitHub has a better example. Like I know what's wrong here, but I just want to make sure I have the correct setup. I kind of wish there was a better example here. Not the best documentation. All right. So let me think this through. I need browser local storage. So I'm just going to try at the top doing import browser local storage. Can't hurt. It's probably going to throw an error saying it can't find it. Yeah, I can't resolve it. And it's looking in the wrong folder. So what if I did a tilde? Tilde stands for node modules. Browser local storage expire. Maybe that's what I need to import. Okay, let's try import browser local storage from browser local storage expire. It didn't like that. Maybe I don't need the tags or the, maybe that worked. It worked. Okay, let's go look at the console. Okay, so what did I do here? I imported the browser local storage method from browser local storage expire. So it took me a minute to dig that out of my brain. This is ES6 syntax. It's basically saying, I want this function from this package. And how I knew to use this module here, this package, was by digging through package.json, or digging through, node modules. And what I did was I looked for the package.json file. That will tell you when you don't know where to go. See the from, that's the piece that you want here. So that's how you figure that out. If somebody didn't write really good documentation for you, just having some general familiarity with these import statements and what they mean can help you get through that. So now this should have console.logged null. Okay, so I want to be checking if something is null. And let's make data be this local cache.getItem API data. That's what we want. And then if data is null, we get data, and then we need to set it. So here, our goal is to save the data. Let's set item API data to data. And then let's console.log fetching data. And then here we're going to put else, because I want to see what happens. I want to make sure that this is actually saving. So let's console.log it was stored. I want to check that this logic is working perfectly before I go any further. All right, so this is running. Let's see how it goes. I might take a break after this. So I've been recording these tutorials back to back. Oh, failed to compile. Maybe it didn't fail to compile. Let's see. Anyway, I've been recording these back to back so far. This is the 4th tutorial, which means I've been doing this for about 2 hours now. And honestly, my brain's getting a little fuzzy between explaining everything and trying to code at the same time. Okay, it was stored. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. So it's broken now. Oh, that's how you know it's the end of the evening. Okay, so it's not broken. What's happening here is that this function getData is trying to do more than just get the data. It's also trying to append the items. So what do we need to do to solve this last piece? We need to move this into a new function. So let's call this function create. Well, let's not really create ideas. Let's do add markup. And we're just going to move this over, this whole for loop, to add markup. And then what do we want? What do we want to call this? Add markup from ideas. And then const item of ideas.items. Maybe it's clearer to keep that as data. Add markup using the data. Okay, so after this runs, we want to add markup using preferably our stored data. Let's change this to stored data so that it's not confusing. Let's stored data. If stored data is null, we're fetching the data, get data. Also is stored. And then down here with data, my plant's turned off. That's another sign. It's getting to be late. I have a plant over here. It's off camera and you can't see. Okay, so then with the data, console.log the data, local cache.set do stored data equals data. We're going to set the API data to the stored data, and then we're going to add markup using the stored data. I think I got it. Let's see. Save and refresh, save and refresh. So this should, I might be checking the wrong thing. If stored data equals no, get item API data. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually call my new add markup function. No, I did. There it is. It's right there. Oh, you know what? The data is stored. I need to call it up here. Else add markup stored data. Console.log it was stored. All right. I'm pretty sure this is last piece that needs to happen here. Okay. All right. We got this. We got this. I'm a little concerned that my button's gone. Is it at the bottom now? Where'd it go? Why is it suddenly, what's different here? Oh, it's at the bottom. Maybe my CSS just isn't generating. Okay, well, either way, I've got this doing the thing that I want it to do. And I can test this one more time by clearing local storage. So you can manually do this in your JavaScript by setting, you can clear local storage, or what I could do that's maybe a little bit easier is do a new private window. I'm going to do that because my brain's tired. Okay, look at that. There we go. Everything's loaded. If we go to the console log, this should have said fetching data. Perfect. And then when we refresh, it was stored. Okay, perfect. Everything's working. See how much faster it loaded when we didn't have to wait for that? Boom. So quick. And if we close this again and open a new private window, anytime you need to reset your data, a private window is like the easiest way to do it. See, now you have to wait and now it's there. So it's subtle, but it's like a good, it's a performance boost basically. Oh, and check this out. Look, my CSS is back. Okay, this is great news. Oh my gosh, I think I need to take a break for the night. Okay, so what do I need to do? I'm going to be good this time and I'm going to commit my changes now. I've stored the data. So here I've added local browser storage, storing the data. I'm going to commit this. I'm going to finish this feature. And I think the rest of this is a tomorrow problem. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got left here. We've stored the API data. We've made a function that gets the data and adds the markup. We have to have add markup as a separate function because we're calling it in two places. Once after the data is actually fetched, and then when the data is stored, we also want to go straight to add markup. So remember, the timing of functions is really important. What we have left to do is we still have to figure out how to get two random bookmarks. So I need like a way to get a random number from my list of data and show two of those, maybe like the first two. So that might be my next step. And then I think attaching the event listener is probably next after that. And then changing the button text. I've already did add my results to JS idea results. I ended up doing that really quick, but I want to make sure it's in the right place. So I'm just going to leave that note there. Phew. It's amazing how much work this is, even when you've done this for a long time. So hopefully that helps you understand my process a little bit better and how I go through building things. I'm going to pick up on this again tomorrow. And for now, I'm going to take a break for the night and get some well-deserved relaxation and rest, because after about 2.5 hours of just like straight up coding and doing video, I'm pretty burnt out. So that's that. I will talk to you tomorrow and we'll go on with the rest of the parts of this tutorial. I'll see you later.